Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
Avenge what happened in the last race. I really like the Four Horse Nations Pride. They fired Dettori. They're flying William Buick over to ride this horse.
That should, keep him a little bit more honest. I think it comes down to Nation's Pride and Stone Age like you.
Watch Saratoga today on Past the Wire TV with Dawn Lupel and Jonathan Stettin. Every Saturday morning of the meet, horses to play and to play against, vulnerable favorites, track trends, winning angles, the scope, and more. Watch, subscribe, ride with us. Nobody does it better.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Past the Wire TV, our one-on-one series with jockey Tyler Gaffalione. Tyler, thank you so much for taking some time out of the day, the dark day at Saratoga, which I'm sure you appreciate, to come on the show.
No, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited.
Really appreciate it. I got to tell you something to start. A couple of weeks ago, my co-host, Michael Wilson, used to be a trainer. I don't know if you know Michael. He runs Forza Bloodstock now. And he's involved. He's got a bunch of horses with Safi Joseph, and I know you ride for Safi, so okay. You don't know who he is. But we did a show called Pilots or Passengers, talking about jockeys. And we picked about 15 or 20 of the top jockeys in the country to discuss whether we thought they were a pilot or a passenger. And the difference was, a passenger is a guy who, gets it done, and a pilot is a guy who makes a difference. And I got to say, you were on the list, and we paid you a big compliment because you were the only guy that we both said when we came to Tyler, we said pilot, but not pilot. We said fighter pilot, which was like the ultimate compliment.
Thank you.
And we mean it.
Thank you so much.
I've watched you develop over the past couple of years, and you're at that stage now where you've got to the top level. You've dominated Churchill Downs, which is a prestigious meet. But you're at that point in a rider's career that's going to be one of the greats, where you just, to a race watcher like myself, you're getting better from meet to meet and every day. And even with a little bit of a slow start at Saratoga, you're coming around and I watch rides and I watch jockeys closely, and you could start slow and it really has nothing to do with you. Or sometimes even your mount, you're just not getting the trips, or, your horse is in position and that's all you could do. If you've got him in position and you don't win because there's a better horse, hey, I'm off to a slow start, but what could I do? I can't get off the horse and carry him home. So
exactly.
It started to turn around a little bit for you, I think, when you won the Amsterdam on gun night, which was a nice win.
Oh, most definitely. Like you said, it's a very competitive meet. Top riders in the country, top horses, top trainers. And even when you think you got a good one, so do they. And it's a rotation of horses. You got to be lucky. It's a short meet, so you got to have horses get in. Just everything has to fall into place. And unfortunately, we got off to a slow start, but that's how this business is. There's ups and downs, and you just got to ride through it.
Right. And I think it's pretty good when you get off to a slow start and you're still in the top 10, which you are. So, slow start, still top 10. That's not bad. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's tougher for a rider coming into Saratoga from Churchill Downs than it is for riders that are already riding in New York and are coming in from the Belmont circuit?
I would think there's a slight advantage for the New York riders, mainly because we're only here for 2 months out of the year, and then we go back to Kentucky. These horses stay up here. They run at Belmont. Well, this year Aqueduct, but trainers like to have jockeys develop a relationship with horses, especially 2-year-olds and horses that they're looking to go forward with. So it's just hard to lock in those mounts, and it's just difficult at times.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. You know, everybody says that, you know, Saratoga is the place where everybody wants to win. People point their maidens and babies for there, and just, you know, pricey horses for there, and you know, the best outfits, they say, save their best horses, you know, for that meet.
Right.
You ride for Chad. Chad, we know. I mean, it's no secret. He really points for that meet. I think Todd, you ride for him as well. I think he does. How much tougher is it? I mean, you ride some of the premier meets. You ride Churchill in the spring, which is the Derby meet. That's a tough meet. Gulfstream in the winter, tough meet. Saratoga, is it the toughest of the tough? I mean, is it really that much tougher on a day-to-day basis?
I would have to say so, mainly because, like you said, everybody points to here. Everybody wants to win here. Owners, they'll buy horses just to run here, you know.
Right.
And it's just accumulation of everything. But I would say, with it being a short meet, being so competitive, I would have to put it up there as the toughest meet of the year.
Right. Do you find the race riding tougher and more competitive at Saratoga than the others? Like, is a rider who is likely to give you room or kind of let you out when they have no horse at maybe Gulfstream or Churchill or Belmont or somewhere else, less likely to do that at Saratoga? I mean, is the race riding and jockeying for position actually tougher to the point where, like, you can feel it, you know, you're at Saratoga, kind of like a Derby or a grade one where nobody's giving an inch?
Most definitely, you feel it right away. The first race of the meet, and everybody's a little more aggressive, getting position, riding a little tighter, and just we're all out here trying to win and make the most of it.
Right. One thing that I thought was curious going into the meet, and I'm interested in your perspective as a rider, and I don't know how many races you've ridden on it. I didn't bother to look it up, but that new mile race down the chute. Okay, I thought it was kind of an unnecessary thing to do because, you know, we run 7/8, we run a mile in the 16th, and I thought it was going to create a situation where you've got that straight run along the clubhouse turn, and then you make that sharp left. And I said, you know, when things get going and things get hot and everybody's trying to win, that could create like a dangerous sharp turn. How does it play out? What is that like? Is it rough to make that left turn, especially if you're drawn outside?
Not necessarily. You just gotta hope your horse breaks well. They've been running smaller fields. I think the most they'll run out of that chute is either 8 or 10. I'm not
Okay.
sure exactly, but it's usually smaller fields. And we kind of have a similar race over at Keeneland when we run the 4.5 for the 2-year-olds.
Okay.
We come out of that long chute and just a sweeping turn to the left. But I don't think it's too difficult. These are the best riders in the country. They know where they're at, and everybody kind of looks out for each other, especially it being a new course for everybody. So we're all kind of learning together.
Interesting. And on a personal note, I know congratulations are in order. You got married recently.
Yes, thank you.
Up at Saratoga, I believe. Did you
Yes,
get
sir.
married?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
the Tuesday before the meet started. Yeah, it was
Okay,
a great day.
that's a nice way to start the meet. Congratulations, all the best. Many years of happiness.
Thank you so much.
A question that I have that I think a lot of people wonder about. Turf racing at Saratoga and really a lot during the year at NYRA, and we see it all over, but a lot of times at the NYRA tracks for some reason, and a lot of times in the longer races, a lot of riders don't go. We saw an example of that in the Belmont Derby when Classic Causeway went to the lead and the fractions were very slow, and there are a couple of other speed horses that didn't go. Why do you think, or maybe it's just a misconception, I don't know, from a rider's perspective, are there some riders, or is there some reason that on the grass sometimes people are a little hesitant, jockeys are a little hesitant to go for the lead? I mean, is there that mindset that, you know, it's the grass, so the last move is the one that counts, or is it just something that, you know, bettors and fans watch that really they don't understand? It's not playing out that way. What's it like from your perspective?
You see, I hear that comment all the time, especially when I come up to New York. And I I really don't know what to make of it because I'll have horses that have speed on paper, and I come out aggressive, and it's a fight to try and make the lead most of the time. Like I said, everybody here is really aggressive out of the gate. They try and get their position, and I mean, I don't see it personally, but it's kind of how things happen.
Right. Another interesting question. We have had some races at Saratoga, and you probably don't see it because you're out there riding in the race where they'll put up fractions that we know are wrong. Like the other day, they ran a 7/8 race on the dirt, and they put up, I think, 26 for the first quarter, which as soon as you see it, you know, we know it's
Yeah.
not right. I forget what the half was, 49 or 50, going 7/8 of a mile. And like, I'm looking like, okay, something's wrong with the timer. And it turned out that the outrider tripped the timer or something like that was wrong. And there was an explanation. But when a rider rides a race, okay, or specifically when you ride a race, because I don't want to put you in a position to have to speak for other people. When you ride a race, okay, do you have an idea? I mean, I know you know whether you're going fast or slow, but do you have an idea of what the splits are? I mean, not precise, but you kind of know, yeah, I kind of went that quarter, you know, the first quarter in 23, the half. You have an idea of that or no?
Most definitely, you know, just for because I've been riding so long, you develop a clock, especially working horses continuously in the morning and being familiar with the racetrack because the racetrack plays a lot into it. One day it could be speed, a little quick. One day it's a little heavy, so it's slow down. But you always have an idea of where you're at. Definitely, nobody's perfect. You're never going to hit it right on the nail, but uh, you kind of seem to have an idea of the times in a roundabout area.
Right. A lot of people are saying this meet that the main track is different than it has been in the past, and that it's a little heavier. It seems to be tiring. Horses are coming back tired. You know, Todd Pletcher said it publicly that he thought that the track was a little bit more laboring than it has been in the past. Have you noticed that? Is that the case?
Most definitely. It's much heavier this year. It's a little deeper, and especially in some spots, far turn. Seems like horses just kind of have a hard time getting underneath themselves. Seem to struggle a little bit until the quarter pole, and it seems like it's playing a little better outside this year.
Is there anything you as a rider can do knowing that to kind of compensate for it?
For me, I just try and save as much horse as I can for the finish. Definitely get position out of the gate, but try not to rush them off their feet down the backside. Just because it is a tiring track, you don't want to spend them early.
Right. And you are a strong finisher, so I think that's one of your best attributes as a rider. I mean, you're a tough guy to beat when you're coming down the lane and hold off. So I would think a track like that might play to your advantage. I mean, there are some riders that can kind of muscle a horse home and carry them, give them that little extra encouragement and get them up. You're one of those guys, so I would think that a tiring track might play to your advantage in that way.
As long as you got the horse, that's all that matters.
Always got to have the horse. Speaking of that, you rode a 2-year-old the other day, that one that I thought really might have a future, and we might even see in the hopeful. Tell me a little bit about Disarm and what he felt like and what you thought of him. And maybe I'm off base, but I thought he really jumped up in his second start and ran a really nice race.
No, I thought it was a great race. We've been so high on him since before he ran. I kept hearing how impressive he was in the mornings, and first time seeing him, big strapping colt, great pedigree. It seems like he'll run all day, gun runner on top with tapping mare on the bottom. But he was very green in his first start. Second we got out on the track, he started trying to get up on the pony. He's very coltish. Just wasn't focused at all. Even going to the gate that day, had a hard time warming him up. But he didn't take to the dirt too well. Fighting to kick back, and when I put him outside, he made a big run. Then he was starting to lug in late, but he showed a lot of potential. Good gallop out that day, so we were real high coming up here for Saratoga. And Steve wanted to wait for the 7 furlong race so he could stretch out a little bit. And it was the first time Steve actually ever told me to take a horse off the pony, and we warmed him up pretty good, got him a little more focused, and he broke more alert, and he handled the kickback. And honestly, it was a very professional race. He took a huge step from his first to second start.
Maybe in the hopeful, maybe.
I think that's the plan.
Okay.
Like I said, they're very high on them, and they have high expectations. So
Yeah,
let's see.
I thought so when he won that way, and he's coming at it. You know, his maiden race, when you said he was green, the horse that won that race won the Sanford. So
Exactly.
you know, it was
Definitely flattered them.
this race. Yeah, no, absolutely. Looking ahead, Breeders' Cup, Keeneland, kind of your backyard now. You're probably the dominant guy in Kentucky. You've got 3 seconds in the Breeders' Cup. You've got 3/3 in the Breeders' Cup. I know that there are many Breeders' Cup races with your name on. We going to see that first win this year, you think?
That's the plan, man. It would be amazing to get the first Breeders' Cup win, but it would be even more special at Keeneland. It's one of my favorite tracks to ride at. I consider it one of my home tracks, and most of my family will be there that day, so it would be real exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And like I said, I'm sure there's one with your name on. Is that something that, like, even now at Saratoga, that early, that, you know, Matt, your agent, and you are already thinking about and lining up horses? I mean, once you get to a certain tier of rider, you know, go-to guy, which you know you've gotten to that point. You know, you can be a little selective. You can seek out mounts. You can kind of, you know, go after better horses. Is that something that you guys are talking about and planning about even now?
Oh, most definitely. Matt's one of the best agents I've ever. He's the best agent I've ever been around, but
He's great. He is, no, for sure.
he's the man. He's on top of his game, always working. Even this morning, we've talked probably 5 times already, and just trying to map out our schedule. Next week, we're going to Churchill Saturday for the million races. Then we have to fly out to California on the 20th. There's a filly out there running in the Del Mar Oaks, and it's tough. Sometimes you have to give up a horse at one track to go ride another, and just trying to pick the best one right now.
Right. That is tough, and I think people don't realize how tough that is to, like, you know, have to fly out cross country or fly somewhere else. You know, get back, you know, lose as little of your business as possible or as little of your mounts as possible. You know, the thing about racing, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, most of you know, your calls are handshakes. They can change on a dime. Somebody could just change their mind. There's no contracts, no locks in. Like William Buick come in and ride those 2 horses for Godolphin. He's under contract with them. He doesn't have that pressure of worrying about anything. He's, you know, their main guy. We don't have that here. You know.
No, unfortunately, it's every man for himself, really.
Right.
Like you said, it's more of a verbal contract than anything. And things change. Horses get injured. Somebody could forget to make an entry, and you wind up sitting out a race. But it's just part of the game, and try and do the best you can.
Now, let me ask you this out of curiosity. When you guys, and I mean most riders, and this is a general question, when you have those calls like in California, Kentucky, and want to get back quick, are you guys private jetting it, or are you hitting Albany Airport and hoping the flights take off on time?
Usually it's commercial flights. Hope for the best, and it hasn't been too great the past couple of years with delays and cancellations. But every now and then, like I believe towards the end of this month, I have to go to Charlestown, and I'll ride Saratoga the first couple of races. Then we're going to take a private jet to Charlestown to ride that night. But there's special circumstances when you can get enough riders to go, and you need a quick flight, but you'll take a private.
I think the agents should get together and start lobbying some of these really wealthy owners to, you know, get those like those segment like charter flights where you can use so many hours a year that, you know, you guys just have that available to kind of like, you know,
I'd be all for that.
have to you know, do that. Guy that owns Coltneck, Richard Santulli, I think he's big into that. He should, you know, look into that where they have certain blocks of time that you guys can use. There's nothing like going private, which, you know, I did it.
Just so much easier, you know.
Oh man,
the hassle through the airport, security, checking bags.
I did it years ago to the Breeders' Cup before anybody was doing it. We chartered a flight, there and back. Nothing like it, man. It was like,
Oh, no,
you
can't
leave
beat
when
it.
you get to the airport, you walk right in the plane, you leave after the races, after dinner, whenever you want. There's no schedule, just, you call the pilot, we'll be there in a half hour, done,
No, you really can't beat it.
It's definitely the way to go, man. Second half of Saratoga coming, I got to give it to you. You started slow, but you kept to it. You're in the top 10, even with a slow start. You've won your share of races. Surprising, earned over $1 million in earnings for the meet so far. A lot more to go. You're at 1.3 million in New York for the year. Last year you're at 1.4, so you're going to definitely pass that, which is a better year, even with the slow beginning to Saratoga, which there are guys that would kill to have your slow beginning and be in the top 10, and have the Amsterdam with Gunite in the belt. How's the second half look for you? You like the way your book of business looks? You got some horses coming up that you're excited about. I know you'll be traveling, so that's always kind of a good thing, because you're going to ride good horses. You're not going to leave the spa to ride horses that Matt doesn't think is live and that you don't think is live. So what's the second half of your summer look like?
The second half's looking pretty good. We're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. Unfortunately, we're going to be leaving Saratoga a little early to go ride Kentucky Downs. Yes, sir. So for me, there's a lot of traveling involved, but we do have some exciting races here and some nice up and coming young horses still to run. So hopefully they get in, and hopefully we'll get to see some of their talent.
Yeah, Kentucky Downs is an interesting meet. I mean, that turf course it's got to be an interesting course to ride, and I think it suits your style, because, like I said, you're a strong finisher, and that wire never seems to come up. I mean, that second last turn where there's all of a sudden another stretch, and it's like, I thought I won my bet, and there's like another 1/8 or 16th of a mile to go. So
no, most definitely, it's actually one of my favorite tracks to ride. It's so fun. It's so laid back there. They run for great money. Horses are always nice. They bring in some nice shippers, but probably one of my favorite tracks to ride.
It's amazing, because I never thought, growing up and being a fan of the game for so many years, I never thought that there would be a racetrack that would be able to pull riders and horses and outfits from the Saratoga meet for any reason whatsoever. It just seemed like something that was impossible to ever happen. And Kentucky Downs has succeeded. I mean, a lot of guys, go there and leave early and, run their better horses there. And I got to say, from a training or owning standpoint, if you've got a really nice grass horse that's, ready to break their maiden or sitting on a big race, the money's more. I mean,
Exactly.
and I think they've even come up prestige-wise to a level where, you win at Kentucky Downs, it's noteworthy now.
No, exactly. Like you said, the competition has been getting much better the past few years. They're bringing in better quality stake horses and just all around maidens, lounge races. They're competitive fields now, and it's a little more difficult to win there. But I think with them offering so much money, it's more enticing to owners and trainers to bring some of those better quality horses. And we've had horses run good, second, third, and they could come back and win up here at Saratoga, but people are waiting for Kentucky Downs now.
All right. Last question, then I'll let you go, because I appreciate your time, and you should enjoy your day, the dark days over there. My last question is this, and it ties into something you said. I know you're a tough guy, and you're a no back down guy. Okay, I know that, and I mean that in a complimentary way. That's a good thing. Do you find that New York, the colony, is a cliquish type of colony where certain riders are kind of like part of a clique, and if you're not part of that clique, it may be a little bit tougher for you or for riders that are not part of that clique to kind of get room, get mounts, get the same opportunities as some other guys get? Or is that just nonsense that people on the outside think that's really not true?
No, some people might say that, but in all honesty, they're a very welcoming colony. I've gotten familiar with them over the past few years, coming up to Saratoga, and most of them go to Gulfstream during the winter. But they're there to help anytime you need anything. I don't want to leave anyone out, but for the most part, honestly, it's a great colony, great riders, and they'll do anything for you.
Right. Sounds good, man. Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. Wish you a great rest of the meet at Saratoga, Kentucky Downs. Like I said, Breeders' Cup is coming. Just little patience. There's plenty of them with your name on it. Congratulations again on the wedding, and again, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
No, seriously, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Thanks everybody for watching. Tyler Gaffalione. We all wish him the best, and ciao for now.
With some exciting news, DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets.
Say breed the best to the best and hope for the best.
Vekoma broke well on the outside, and
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
Inside, Vekoma continues to battle on down at the rail. It is Vekoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Nobody does it better.